Hey YouTube, Andrew here with Burnett's Custom Woodworks. Do you yourself smoke cigars or know a friend or family member who does and wants to make them a nice little gift or just one fun project to turn? A cigar stand. They take about maybe a total of 30 minutes to make. You can make them out of any wood. This one happens to be made out of cherry. Just a little piece I had laying around. They can just sit it down, lay their cigar in it when they're not smoking it, pick it back up. So if you want to see how I made this, stand by and watch the rest of the video. Thank you. Alright, so we have our center point found, and then you draw a line up from it and down one edge, and then this line is going to determine how tall your cigar stand is going to be. So this is going to be the center, and it's an 1.1/8 Forstner bit, so the bottom will be right here. This is going to be a little bit taller one than I normally make, but I figured why not do something different. So mark it, find your center, line up, line all the way down, and mark your point there. That way your hole that you drill here is going to be in line with your blank. So we'll just find our center. Right there's good. And just like that, we have the start of our cigar stand. Now I'm going to show you how we sand the hole before we put it on the lathe. Alright, so the easiest way I've found to sand in here is with a spindle sander, but you need to do it before you turn it round so you can keep it good and vertical on the surface. So that's the reason I cut mine 1.1/8, or drill an 1.1/8 hole. Slides right over my 1-inch spindle sander. So sand it up. Alright, it don't take much if you had a good sharp Forstner bit to make that really smooth in there. And this is running, I think these are 150s, 120s or 150s. But get that all nice and smooth. It'll save you a headache later when you turn it and you try to sand that afterwards. I've made that mistake. Alright, so to mount the blank, I've done it a couple ways. The way I used to do it was I would use my bottle stopper mandrel. I got this little piece. It came with my Nova Live Center. It's a Morris taper too, and it's got threads in here, and you can thread this little like worm screw on. That's what I've been using right lately. It's a lot easier. Screws in there, holds it on. So, but with it being Morris taper 2, fits in the headstock. Give a little tap in there, and then we'll just thread it on. And just like that, it come out of the headstock. Another tap in there. Loosen it up a little bit. Clean those threads out. I did pre-drill the hole, so it's making it a little bit easier. Alright. There we go. Wonderful. And the turning part is the easy part. Alright, so I'm going to use my 3/4 inch spindle roughing gouge just to get it down to round. Shouldn't take just a second. Alright, so I like to form my shape before I part this off. So let's do a little turn under there. I'm going to leave this one big and fat just because I'm going to do a cove down through here. I think I'm going to do a shoulder right here. Alright, so I like that. Nice and fat, chubby. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put some little burnish lines in here. I think it's a better purchase point for my burnish lines. Have some burnish lines there. Now we're going to part this off. I like to do all my shaping and everything before I part this off. Just gives it more sport with the tailstock. And when I part, I'm using a 1/8 inch parting tool. And we're going to try to part right in the center of our hole here. Just like that. A little bit of tear out right there. Now we're gonna do nice little chip out right there. Well, maybe we can save it. Oh yeah, turned all that off of it. So now we're going to sand it up a little bit. Now this in here is good and smooth. Got a little bit of tear out on the inside, but nothing we won't be able to sand out. Alright, so I'll just hit it with 150 right now to start the sanding process. So we're gonna just by hand just kind of round over those edges. We don't want them sharp. Alright, so after I do my 150 and get it decently smooth, I might come back with a sanding sealer. And put a coat of sanding sealer on it just to seal it up real good. coat of that on there. Make sure you get it down in there. Alright, we'll let that dry for a few minutes and come back. Alright, so after I've got the sand and sealer good and dried, I'm going to come back with 150 again just to smooth it up. Now that we put the sand and sealer down in there, it's a little rough. It raised the grain just a little bit, but it don't take much to knock it back down. Alright, so now we're going to move up through the different bits of sandpaper, and I'm not going to bore you with that. I think everyone knows how to sand. Alright, so here's the finished cigar stand. I sanded up through 400 grit, making sure to these little tips right here. Sometimes when it's spinning they don't get good, so you need to hand sand those little tips where it goes in, and also on the inside. But sanded up to 400 good. I cleaned it up with some mineral spirits, and I'm going to be using just some good old boiled linseed oil to finish this one. You can use any finish you want. I've used OB shine juice. The only problem with that is getting it in here and getting it polished, because you can't really get in here while it's spinning. So I found either just a good oil finish works. I like boiled linseed oil, walnut oil, tongue oil, any of those will work. So I'm going to put a little coat of oil on there, and then I'll show you the finished product. Just like that, after a couple coats of boiled linseed oil, have a beautiful little cherry cigar stand. And since I don't smoke cigars, we will closest thing I had to a cigar was my little butane torch, but just sits there just beautifully. That way when you're smoking it, you need to put it down, you have somewhere to sit it over your ashtray. So if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and hit subscribe for future videos. Thanks again for watching.